Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sit Down with Andrew Riggs. This week, I have just a hell of a strong guy. He just got done competing at the Arnold Classic. He competes all over the United States. Has a 1,996 pound total. No big deal. Don't fangirl.
That's my competition total. Yeah.
Yeah. Russell Yankee. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I guess
my total in the gym is closer to 2150.
21. What's the difference? Are you like using slingshots or like how does that?
No. Classic raw. So, I'll give you a little rundown of what happened. This is why I'm competing in 9 weeks. I tore my hamstring about almost 4 weeks exact today. I competed with a torn hamstring 3.5 weeks after tearing my hamstring. Also, I had my coach there, and he ended up having me warm up, so I only got to squat twice at the Arnold. I deadlifted enough to total UK. My hand tore at the top of the movement, which actually had me winning against Ernie Lillenberg and GOAT in the sport. I had enough weight to beat him. I'd lost the weight at the top. So I plan to prove that I total over 2,000 here in about 9 weeks. I'm very angry about this. So I got to show it. But I've squatted 890 in the gym. I benched in the mid fives, and I pulled 767 in the gym before.
So with the competitions being like that close, is that abnormal for you to have competitions that close together?
At my level, absolutely. Most guys wouldn't do it because they're too burnt out. I didn't even feel like I had a meet this last weekend. I feel pretty fresh. So I don't know. I can't say that I even feel like I lifted. Honestly, it felt weird to deload because I didn't even feel like I lifted that heavy. The only thing that I did heavy was bench 500, and I actually left pounds on the platform with the bench. And 780 is all I squatted, which is close to something I could have opened with. And my deadlift was only 675, which I pulled that for 3 reps before in the gym.
So, like, you're one of the few people that I follow that occasionally you'll hit me with like you'll state what your exercise is that you're doing, and it's all like it's something I've never seen before. But I guess that's part of you being like a personal trainer. It'll be like I'm going to be a little bit hyperbolic here, but it'll be like this is a 13-inch deficit Mark Ruffalo squat. And I've never seen the movement that you're doing before. And I'm like, I mean, obviously it's working, but I wish I knew what this said. And it's fascinating to me.
You're talking about conjugate. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You'll hit me with one of these left hooks of a word before a lift. And I go, yeah, absolutely. Done that before. Yeah. So how did you get invited to the Arnold Classic?
So back about I think it's been almost 4 years now. I decided to quit drinking, and I was gonna start lifting. I quit drinking. I started lifting. I planned on competing. So I did a competition back. It'll be 3 years in April. I started competing. 3 years from this April. It'll be since I started, and I competed and I qualified to go to IPL Worlds actually. That I wasn't really fixated on the Arnold specifically. I've actually done the Arnold 3 times now. This is my 3rd time, and sadly, I've gotten second every time. I had it this time, and I lost grip, so it was a little surreal to bench 500, almost total 2K, and win the whole thing. I was like that close. It was pretty hard to swallow. Anyways, yeah. I qualified to go to England in 2022 or 2021 because that was the first year I competed. I totaled 1824. I ended up being ranked 10th in the world for my age and weight at 220, my first meet. So I went and did another meet right after that, and I competed like literally weeks later, which is what I was talking about. If you're blown out, which I actually kicked my own ass in my first meet. So my second meet, I was actually pretty beat up. I did a horrible job. I think I passed out on the platform. I have a video somewhere on my social media of me actually passing out deadlifting. Then I went to IPL Worlds in England. I did well there, actually. I tied for second place. That was a really whole different experience. And from there, I was deciding that I was going to do very few local meets. My next goal was to do something big. Well, I had heard about the Arnold before. It was very iconic in powerlifting. Everybody kind of knows what the Arnold convention is, right? Everybody's heard of it. It's the largest fitness event in the United States.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I decided to sign up and see what I could do. Well, I go there, and there's a guy named Tony Carter there, who is a very strong guy, one of the top 20 all-time lifters at 220 in the world, regardless of age or anything. So I went against that guy. Well, we were only about 40 pounds apart on my first one doing there. We were head-to-head. It was really fucking cool. And I ended up getting second place my first time there. It was my first rap meet. I think I benched 480, I squatted 705, and I pulled like 690. I was very happy with it at the time. And then I just decided I was going to keep doing the Arnold till I won it. And I thought I was going to win it this year, but I didn't. So it was a slap in the face. But me and Ernie Lillenbridge Jr., we shook on it. We made a gentleman's agreement to meet back next year. So we'll see what happens.
You got it. I think that had the injury not happened, this would be a little bit of a different, a little bit of a different turnout for you.
100% right. I think I had it regardless of the injury. That's why I was a little frustrated. But my opener on squat was going to be 770. My second attempt was 780. So definitely you're right. I would have went probably 830, 840 on my second. And then if I would have got to do 3 squats, I would have probably went 870 to 890.
What,
that would have been the goal.
Sorry, what was your squat? What's your max?
890 is my best all time. Which
man, that's
I believe that's close to a world record. I don't really care. To me, it's all about a total. Like, it's cool having a big lift. Yeah. And my one big goal that is not total based is I plan to be the lightest man alive to squat 1,000 pounds.
You're on your way there. Certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've put almost 200 pounds on my squat in the last year.
Yeah. So this past block for me is the first time that I've actually focused on what a total should look like for me. I think my total now it's 1,055. Like, I broke 1,000, and that's kind of, I mainly just do strongman stuff. So bench, I'm not good at. I'll go ahead and say that I'm not good at it because I never bench. I've, over the past 8 months,
it's useless. It's useless for anything but powerlifting. It's not something that transfers to strongman.
No, like there's never in strongman, there's never a bench event. There are squat events, there are deadlift events almost every single time. There's never a bench event.
I've done strongman.
There's a lot of like overhead press stuff that I guess bench can kind of translate to. But my overhead press is more than my bench press. And like, that's unusual, but I never bench. So it makes sense. It makes sense that I wouldn't be good at it.
Yeah, you don't know how to pack your lats. You probably don't really keep your elbows stacked to your wrist. There's a lot of little things that people don't do. If you're overhead pressing more, it's just because you don't know what the hell you're doing.
No, I don't. I don't know what I'm doing because I don't do it. That's
just fine. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, I've done a strongman event before. I have done one. So,
yeah, I think that each has its own crowd. Strongman has its crowd. Powerlifting has its crowd. Both of those people, like both powerlifting people and strongman, have been very open and receptive to me. Bodybuilders have not been so receptive to me. That maybe that's just because I'm not part of the physique training thing. I don't know, but
no, there's a little bit of ego that comes with that crowd. It's an appeal crowd. So based on appeal, they're always like, it's almost a little catty. I've done 2 bodybuilding shows too. It's a very catty scene in general. I didn't really like it. I liked the determination and like with the food situation, but I got a couple buddies that are professional bodybuilders that I talk to.
Yeah.
Todd Whiten is one of them. He's a coach and he's a professional bodybuilder. Matt Trammell's a guy that I know that I'm pretty cool with that just won the Arnold Amateur, and then Jordan, who trains with Ronnie Coleman's coach now, and he moved to Texas. That's another bodybuilder I know quite well from Michigan originally.
Do you know? So my old coach, he competes a lot in like around the United States. His name is Ben Eisenminger. Eisenminger. I don't know if you've ever met him or not. I think he won the classic 3 years ago at 2. I think he competes at like 201.
Light heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's quite large when you're lean. So that's very large. That'd be a guy walking around the off season about 250. So close to a guy my size. I'm a pretty big guy.
Yeah. You competed like 230.
So I just did my first 242 meet ever. I was a
Okay.
220 guy forever. I was cutting from 240 to 220. I went to the American Pro in Virginia, which is like the Super Bowl of powerlifting in September, and my weight cut went really, really, really bad. So I decided there was no longer going to be big weight cuts. I minimizing them to a couple pounds.
That's tough. That's super tough on your body. I used to wrestle, so I get it. Like, oh man, I would cut like 15 pounds in a day, and that's not as dramatic as like some of these people cut. And I would just feel like
27 pounds in 2 days.
Yeah, nope.
27.
I bet you were.
I'm almost 40 years old. I'm almost 40. So yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I felt like dog shit. I didn't get to eat for almost 2 days. The refeed went horrible. When I did start eating, I couldn't stop the hiccups. It was like an all-day event with the hiccups. My diaphragm was so sore when I woke up the day of the comp. It felt like I had literally done sit-ups for like 24 hours straight.
Ooh, that's rough. So I guess
yeah.
So with this, what are kind of your long-term goals? I guess.
Okay, so I have a couple. I would like to total around 2,300 pounds, maybe a little over. I would like to squat 1,000 pounds, and I also would like to basically make a living out of this. I am opening up my own gym facility this year when I get back from Poland. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm going to Sedlice, Poland in September to represent the United States with the XPC. I was invited on Christmas Eve. I'll be one of 4 Americans.
XPC?
Sedlice, Poland. Yes, XPC is the same organization that the Arnold hosted, but there is a European version, and I'm going to Poland to compete for money. It's 350,000 PLN, which equals 30,000 American, is what we're competing for.
So wait, do you get like travel vouchers or anything like that? Like I don't know how that works.
I have a sponsor that's going to help pay for me to go.
Okay.
And I also look for sponsors. I have like some local guys, and I'll put some out here again soon. I start looking for sponsors closer to the event because, you can market it better when I get closer, right? So when I went to England in 2022, I didn't pay for that trip either. I was sponsored. I'll open like GoFundMe's to some people because the reason I have a GoFundMe account is, yes, I do get some personal people that do it, but for the most part, people in Eastern Europe, it's easier for them to not donate, but give money through a donation website than it is to actually transfer money. It's a bitch to transfer money from Eastern Europe to the United States.
Yeah, I'm sure. So as far as like, I do have a couple of people that I have reached out to me about, like, because I do interview a lot of like athletes and stuff. I will, after we get done, I'll hook you up with them. If you want, I'll hook you guys up so you can talk to them. As far as like, because they do sponsor athletes. So
okay,
when we get done with this, I'll shoot you their information. So I guess you're gonna compete again in 9 weeks, or 8 weeks 8 or 9 weeks, and then
Nine.
are you
Yep.
are you basically done until it's time to do that?
September.
Yeah.
Yes. I plan to blast peptides hardcore and be able to train very heavy. So something different that's going to happen with this block is I'll be working with the famous Lily Bridges family. Ernie Lillibridge Sr. sees a lot of potential in me. He says my squat mechanics are perfect and there's no reason I couldn't set a world record. Now I am working with literally the GOAT family of raw powerlifting. They're the originals. They're the west side of powerlifting. I'm not a religious person, but I'm very blessed to have this opportunity. This is no different than getting introduced to West Side if you're in gear. There's nobody
Yeah.
better in my sport. They're the originals. He has coached more world record holders than any coach combined. All of them. Andrew Haas is one of his people. Eric Lillibridge is his son. Like he coached these people. Like the whole family has had world records at some point. And I'm very lucky to have this opportunity to have somebody like that mentor me. It's very
That guy.
surreal to me. This just happened. So very
No, dude,
crazy.
that definitely sounds awesome. I wasn't sorry. I was Chuck. That guy, Andrew House. He's a unit. All right, and there's no
Yeah,
denying that he's a unit. But I just wish that every time, like it seems like he's bleeding. Every time he lifts something insane, he is bleeding. Like
yeah,
in every
me
video,
too.
which I mean, it's a testament to how
Me
like
too.
mentally tough. Like, but I don't.
Well, if you're strong, it should fucking hurt. If you're doing anything at a high level, it should
No,
fucking hurt. Every time it should hurt. If you're not in pain, you're not pushing. The only time it doesn't hurt in powerlifting, especially raw powerlifting, is when it doesn't fucking hurt, is when you're not pushing yourself. There is
yeah,
pain. There's an association with pain. There's a high level of tolerance of pain. If you're not okay with it, don't fucking lift. People think that all we're doing is lifting weights. No, we're beating the dog shit out of ourselves. It feels like when you have a powerlifting meet that goes well, you should wake up feeling like you got your ass whooped.
I, I believe you. I did. So yesterday for the first
I'm at a
time, I
very
moved.
high level in the sport, so
Yeah.
sorry about
Yesterday
that.
for
Go
the
ahead.
first time, I moved a 300-pound sandbag, which is kind of a new for me. And all day today, because it wasn't just a one time. I struggled, I failed, and then I basically I forced myself through that, and I eventually got that bag, which my PR was before was like 250, which is it's a 50-pound jump, but I haven't been doing
That's
sandbags, and then
huge.
I finally got this sandbag. Oh my god, like my shoulders and my back and my biceps today it feels like someone beat my ass when I was asleep. Just
Yeah.
just oh man.
It's
Oh
wild. And this is the thing about strength sports is like people disassociate pain from it, right? They don't correlate the two. There's a fuckload of pain. There should be. Your body is going through changes. It's adapting to stresses. These are stresses that are at such a high level. It takes days to recover, if not weeks sometimes. Like you can't wake up and be like, I just lifted up my maximum amount that my body could, produce yesterday. No big deal.
yeah.
Like I don't know what people think out of this. I know that you probably understand this more as you go, but when you started, I bet pain was the least thing in your mind, and the less that you allow the pain to dictate your training, the harder you get to push. I think that there was a barrier of pain to go through for 700-pound squat, and then an 800-pound squat, and a 900-pound squat, and with having chains and raw weight, I've had 1,000 pounds on my back. But the day I squat 1,000, that'll probably be a new level of pain I've never felt.
Are you ever worried about like I guess when you're moving that much weight, do you is there like a nagging feeling of like injury or worry of injury?
No, I don't. So if you have any kind of self doubt in yourself with those kind of weights, it will break you. We are flesh. We're not really. I think of myself as a god when I get under the stuff. I know it sounds crazy, but like I'm
Yeah.
very ideological with stuff, and I think of myself as a god. I talk myself up. You have to be very egotistical because if you're not, it will fucking break you. If there's 2 seconds in that lift where you feel like you're not invincible, you are not invincible. You will break. 900 pounds will snap a fucking man. You're a 250-pound dude with a six-pack. Good luck. You still break. I don't
Right.
care. You have to go in so confident that you think that you're invincible. Even when I got hurt, I still really wasn't scared. I was squatting down. There's a video of it. I don't hide none of this stuff. I posted on social media. I was squatting down. It was a little over 900 pounds with the band tension. I think it was like 807 on the bar and 100 something in bands. I was coming down. I felt a pop in my hamstring. I didn't have them grab the bar. I squatted up and racked it. And I tried to walk it off. There is no fear. If you're scared, you might as well not even try.
I am afraid of squats. I've hurt myself before with squats. So
It's called being gun shy. It's called being gun shy. And guess
I
what? Well, I was
don't
a
have
little
that
gun
dog.
shy at the Arnold. I get it.
Uh,
I get it. Like after you've been injured, it's even worse. But I've also tore my pec partially before, and I'm still benching 500 fucking pounds in competition because you eventually either you get over being gun shy or you have to sacrifice your gains. One or the
so
other.
for me, like deadlift, I'm not scared of at all. I have no hesitation, no doubt. I'm like
You haven't been hurt.
I'm gonna move this
You haven't
motherfucker.
been hurt there, right? Have you been hurt
Uh,
there?
I did something funky with my back in the first strongman competition I was in. What happened was
Deadlifting or something else?
I was deadlifting. So I didn't build up my, not necessarily my grip, but my like hand toughness enough. And so I tore like a quarter size. Basically, I tore my a callus off, and then it scooted
Like
as
this?
well. Yeah, just
Like
like
that?
that. And yeah, so I basically
I get it. I just
I
did it.
worked
I just did that a couple days ago. Collagen,
the
buddy. Collagen.
I don't know anything about collagen. Well, I do take. I have a
Oh,
collagen peptide, like a powder that I take.
yep.
But
There you go.
yeah,
That's all you need. It's peptides are God, bro. So
yeah.
I sub Q
There's so many.
injected.
There's
No,
so many
I'll go over it.
supplements. I can't.
So
I can't, I can't keep
there's
up
two that
anymore.
matter. No, there's two that matter.
All right.
There's two that really matter. So TB 500, BPC 157, I'm sorry, stacked. Take a half a stitch, inject sub-Q injection right in the problem area, and do that for like
Hold
3
on.
to 4
Hold on.
weeks. You'll be all right.
Your video cut out when it started lagging
Oh,
and jumping when you said that.
okay. So TB 500 and BPC 157, a half
Hold
a
on.
C of each every day.
TB one what TB what?
TB 500,
TB 500.
500, and BPC 157, half a C a day of each for up to 3 to 4 weeks. And whatever you got going on, you should be fine. I've used it multiple times for tears and injuries. I couldn't walk 3 days after I hurt my hamstring. Fourth day, I used that. The fifth day, I was deadlifting. And as you can see, I squatted near 800 pounds of the Arnold with that problem.
So this
So,
is just where so it's just for localized.
yep. So you can do intramuscular or sub-Q injection. Use an insulin needle. I had my ass looking like a fucking like a what do you call it, pin cushion. I'm just telling you. And then obviously, if anybody really has, depending on what kind of injuries you have, you can go the HGH route. That'll heal things too at a rapid rate. Microdosing HGH, actual HGH. I'm not talking about peptides or testosterone. If you're already on it, you could almost double your intake depending on what you're taking. I think a lot of people already overdo testosterone. I take testosterone. I don't take high amounts of it. You'd be very surprised if you heard my cycle. You'd probably think that I was fucking lying. Most people do. Most of the time I'm on about 200. For comp, I'm close to 3.
Okay, so you're pretty hyper responsive then.
Yeah, everybody's pretty hyper responsive because everybody's red blood cell count gets too fucking high. They get a super lightheaded all the time, and they wonder why they got to do excessive amount of blood dumps. Is because they're just taking too much shit, and they're not doing long enough cycle to allow their body to build up the testosterone that's already in their system. They just want things to be faster and faster. I think that some people definitely need more than that, but for the most part, nobody needs over 500, 600. That's quite a bit.
No, I do. I do 200 like a week, and that's just TRT.
Yeah,
My
200 a week, and I can squat 900 pounds on 200 a week.
yeah, I don't I, so a lot of the times I think about like powerlifting and like focusing on a total, but don't. I have a lot more fun doing strongman stuff than I do like lifting routine. I mean, I think you should go with what you like to do and just kind of stick with that. Um,
Well,
I,
and base it off your mechanics, right? So like, why invest so much time into something that you're mediocre in, right?
sure.
So like, if you're a world class fighter and you suck at fucking powerlifting, then you fight, right?
Right.
Like, I'm just saying, like, or if you're a world class lifter and you suck at boxing, you don't fucking box, you fucking powerlift. Or it'd be no different. Like anything that you're good at, you should adhere to your strengths as an athlete because you're built for a certain sport. Everybody is built for a certain sport. I'm 5'6.5". I've shrunk like an inch since high school from
Mhm.
compression, I'm guessing. I'm 240 at 5'6". I can see little bits of abs. I'm a little fucking brick house. I'm short and stout. I built a bench. I built a squat, and I'm okay built for deadlift. Like I'm built for the fucking sport. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there's a reason. There's a reason I do good. My biomechanics are built for this fucking sport. All three lifts. I'm not built for strongman. I enjoy it, but I'm not gonna put a bunch of time into something that I'm average at.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not 6'6".
I'm
So
6'2", about 6'3", 6'3.5" in shoes. So I only weigh I'm like 235 now. Um, just a pretty tall guy. So people that have that
yeah, you're a little lanky.
people that have like a you're the first person to ever call me lanky in my life, I think.
Well,
Uh,
you'd be lanky if you're 230 pounds. You'd be skinny to me. You weigh 10 pounds less than me,
yeah,
and you're fucking 9 inches taller. Like you're
yeah.
fucking lanky.
I don't know. It's just
You
a
know,
weird, like I don't know. No one outside
it's
of
not a.
like
I'm not offensively. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
no, no.
Just
I'm not.
that's what I would consider your build.
No, I'm not taking it offense. I've never been called that. That's it's like
Yeah,
is outside of like uh our kind of niche. I guess I would never hear. I would never no. Like
well, because the average man is so
yeah,
small, right?
yeah,
Like, I mean, a guy that's like, so I would say a guy that's like your height would have to be over 308 to be my size.
yeah.
You know. My
Proportionally,
shoulders, if we were standing next to each other, my shoulders are probably 5, 6 inches wider than yours, edge to edge.
uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
about
I'm very wide. It's hard to tell here, but I'm very wide. There's a reason I can bench 500 pounds. It's because I have a big ass base.
There you go. You got it. You got it figured out. But yeah,
It's a, it's a,
I,
and it comes that comes down to mechanical advantages, right? This is what I was talking about with sports. Like everybody has mechanical advantages. I can't play fucking soccer against some of these South Americans that are 5'10", 185 pounds and slender as shit. They would literally play with me like a little kid and go around me because they're just built for it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And then you got like Anderson Silva. What a beautiful fucking movement. Like, you know what I mean? Like his elbows and his knees were just like so fluid in his prime. And John Jones is another example. I'm just saying, and George St. Pierre, these are people that were built for their sport. And this is what I'm talking about in the aspect of me being built for my sport. When it comes down to it, I'll probably be one of the best to ever do this because I'm built to be one of the best to ever fucking do this.
um, You know who also like he was just built for it is Fedor. Fedor Emelianenko was just built for MMA. He was
And
just
his
meant to
timing,
be.
I I love that dude. His timing with uppercuts, insane. Something that people don't talk a lot about him. He would pick punches, and he didn't throw a bunch of like a barrage of punches. He would
No.
pick his punches and drop people. Sometimes when he dropped people, you wouldn't even know what he fucking did. You'd have to watch the repeat. You'd have to watch the replay to see what he did.
Right.
Like I used to like to watch some of his Sambo tournaments, and if you watch some of his old videos, and he's dropping these dudes, he dropped more people with uppercuts and body shots than anything. It's hard to even catch it. You have to go through the replay 2 or 3 times to see it.
Yeah, man. Man, I'm bummed out that his brother Alexander threw his life away the way that he did, because he also would have been a phenomenal, like maybe not top 5, but
Maybe he's
definitely
not. He's not a
25.
Fedor. Regardless, he's not Fedor. It's not like the Diaz brothers. You don't need a lineage of people like that. It's okay. There's gods and there's their mortals. It's all right, right?
I,
So there's
I
gods
just
in each sport. Like I'm a god. I feel like I don't care. Like I told you before, I'm very cocky. I'm a god in my sport. I don't care what anybody says. When I go to a regular average gym, I'm totally more than double the average person in there. That's just the fucking truth. And
just
when Fedor walked into a room, he was probably knocking out 9 out of 10 dudes easily all day.
depending on the room, probably 10 out of 10 dudes. Like there was I think he's only
Well, I'm talking about talking about the elitist level. Like I'm talking about the top
oh
level,
yeah.
regardless. Yeah, like literally, you go to the UFC, and if John Jones fought Fedor in his prime, John Jones would have got his teeth knocked out.
100%. Yeah, he was one of the baddest, man. He didn't lose until what, like 2018 or 20? Like
Yeah,
when was this?
he didn't even lose Sambo tournaments with different rules. People were like, "Oh, he did good in this rule set." No, he didn't do good because of the rules. He did good because he was that good. He could go anywhere and beat people up. He got old. That's what happened.
That guy was.
And believe me,
Still,
I'm 38, going on 39. I understand the getting old part.
he I think he like lost 2 fights and then he came back, and then now I think he still fights now. And he's like undefeated in whatever.
He needs to stop. He needs to stop, but he likes to fight.
Oh no, he's reading this just now, like 3 weeks ago, he lost again. Yeah, it's
So I remember
so,
I watched the after the post fight press thing with Rampage Jackson. Rampage
mhm.
Jackson's like, I think it was him. He was like, "Man, I got punched by Fedor." He's like, "Man, I've been punched by a lot of people. Ain't nobody hit me that hard. I didn't even know it came." And he's like, "He hit me so hard. I was like, man, maybe I should just end the night." And I try to fight back for a second. Then he hit me again. He's like, "I'm done. I'm just done." And you know how Rampage talks.
Yeah.
You know, he got socked a couple times by Fedor, and he was like, "Just ain't for me. This ain't for me."
It would have to change you as a person to get punched by that man.
Well, it's like Mike Tyson. Remember what?
Yeah.
It's like what Mike Tyson said, right? Like when you got a heavy-handed guy like that comes in, that's like got that kind of power and that kind of timing. It wasn't just power; it's timing. Like I said, his timing was beautiful. Even as he got older, his timing was good. I just think he was losing some of his potency. But regardless, Mike Tyson said, "You got a plan until I punch you in the mouth. Then your plan's out the window." I'm pretty sure anybody that got in there with Fedor had a fucking plan. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember watching him ragdoll Tim Silva in Pride? Yeah, that was horrible. That was so bad. Tim Silva looked like a guy that had just started MMA.
I remember
He didn't even know what to do.
My dad was like a big fan of Tim Silva at the time, and like
because he was dropping people.
He was like, "Oh, this motherfucker." He was very much like, "There's no way Fedor is going to pull this off," and then I watched his like expression change. And
it was a 35-second fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 35 seconds? It was less than a minute. It was like a half a minute.
After he just like kind of turned the TV off and he sat there for a second and he's like, that Fedor's kind of a bad man. He's got it. Like,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so speaking about Mike Tyson, obviously Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, they announced their fight today. What do you have
That's
any
just
thoughts on
hilarious.
that?
Yeah, actually I do. So Jake Paul's gonna outpoint him. Tyson gets tired too quick. He doesn't have the conditioning level. He's just too old. He's a heavy puncher. He's gonna punch himself out. He's gonna slow down, then Jake's gonna point it all the way to the end. That's just how it's gonna go. And to be honest, Jake Paul's good for like pro boxing in general. I really think he is. I know a dude named Robert Sims out of Saginaw that's fought for, I think he's got a heavyweight title, like a world title. And he was talking about this too, and I really believe that he brings a lot of like good publicity. It seems like bad, but any publicity is good. And boxing's kind of getting a little bit revitalized through stuff like this because the average crowd's kind of dying out in boxing, and it kind of brings it back a little bit. Because you got your stone cold fans of boxing, but you got the average public is MMA all day. So all these crossovers and stuff like this, and Jake Paul, I don't really care for him. Obviously, he's ignorant or whatever, but like he's good for the sport, No different than Shane Strickland's good for MMA, like those people they got mouths or whatever, and no different than Conor McGregor, right? Same thing they said about him. He's got a big mouth and all that, and obviously Conor can back it up. He dropped Aldo down in like 10 seconds, which is some UFC fucking record.
So I think that
But
to who we would have to kind of think for like that level of I don't know what you would call it, like inciting inciting anger or interest, basically in tandem would obviously like honestly I think it would be Chael Sonnen, because I don't know if you remember how good
yeah,
that guy
Chael Sonnen's
was
way
at
over.
talking
Yeah, I
shit.
remember him.
He
He
was
he went
so
5 rounds.
good at talking
Anderson
shit.
Silva. Bro, so
Yeah.
August 26th, on my birthday, he fought. I lost $600 in that fight. I remember it very clear.
Yeah.
I'm a wrestler. I help coach wrestling at Northern Elite Wrestling Academy. I still can wrestle. I can definitely get on the mat and hang with people regardless. At my age now, I'm sure I'm a little fatter, but I bet you I can get on the mat. But regardless, I like wrestlers, and I had my money on Chael Sonnen. They fought on my birthday. I remember the date, and I lost money. I lost $600 in that fight. I was pissed. He pulled that triangle off. There was like 45 fucking seconds left in the 5th round. You remember that? Anderson Silva versus Chael?
Yeah.
It was
Man.
it was the 5th round, bro. It looked so set up. I felt like that was like a New York mob setup, bro. 4 minutes of 4 minutes of Chael Sonnen smothering Anderson Silva, making it so he couldn't breathe, punching him in the face. Not that he was doing any damage, but he 100% controlled Anderson. He won 4 out of 5 rounds, then loses the last 40 seconds. What the fuck?
I constantly I think about that the Ultimate Fighter with Vanderlei Silva and Chael Sonnen.
Oh, the axe murder man.
Yeah, where he's like
Vanderlei
so
sucked after Pride, though. Everybody knew that. He
yeah, like
sucked after Pride.
and you couldn't understand what he was saying, but like he insisted on speaking English, and it's just like just speaking Portuguese. If I can't like just go, like people will let us know what you're saying. I promise you, they'll let us know. And
Yeah,
he was
he
he was
just
like, I
he
come
was
to you,
horrible.
I I fuck to you, Chael. Like,
Yeah, it really was. I didn't think that was even. Honestly, I thought that was pretty dumb on the UFC's part. I didn't really think that was. To me, that was a very lack of entertainment in terms of like coaches fighting. Like I liked some beefs with the coaches on that Ultimate Fighter, but I thought that was a lame one because there was just the conversation lost in translation. There was nothing to, you know what I mean? He could clown on him, you might laugh, but like it's not a back and forth situation. You know what I mean?
I think my favorite feud was probably I think it was probably Rampage and I want to say it was Rashad Evans. Is that when he destroyed the door?
Rashad Evans.
No, Rampage
Yeah.
Jackson destroys the
Yeah,
door.
Rashad beat him too. Yeah, Rashad beat him too. Remember that?
Yeah. Wait.
I can't remember who he fought. I think Rampage was on there like twice. I think yeah, he did. He did that in Ultimate Fighter. I just don't know who he was fighting. Because one of the I remember one of the dudes under the other guy, he tried to fight Rampage over that.
It was
And Rampage
Forrest
actually didn't
Griffin.
even say nothing. The guy said he played him. Oh yeah, he beat Forrest.
Oh man.
Forrest Griffin had a good fight.
So looping back around to the Mike Tyson Jake Paul thing, I do think that Jake Paul he's a legitimate boxer. I'm not going to take that away from him. I don't know if
he's a good point fighter. He's a really good point fighter.
I don't know if he's ever had the level of aggression that Mike Tyson is going to impose on him, but if he weathers the storm, I think he outpoints him. If he weathers the storm.
I just don't think Mike Tyson can't handle distance. That kid knows how. His footwork's not bad. He'll just keep moving on him. He'll tire that old man out, and he'll point him to death. I mean, if he doesn't knock Mike Tyson out, he'll at least win by points. He might even knock him out because he's just going to tire him right out.
I think I don't know.
I just don't see Mike doing anything, bro. I seen that last fight. That was so sorry watching Mike fight like that. I just felt like they pulled up on a retirement home, was like, get in.
Roy Jones? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that was horrible, man.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I became like aware of how old they both were.
Better than watching Bernard Hopkins, though. Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah.
All right. So I guess I won't keep you too much longer. We'll do you have like an Instagram or anything that you want to plug?
Yep. My Instagram is Muscles1985, and then my Facebook's Russell Yankee, my name. And yeah, look out for my big total coming in here in the next couple of weeks.
All right, yeah. Thank you for coming on, and good luck in your upcoming competition. And if you want to, whenever your next competition is passed, if you want to come back on, we can talk about it then. Otherwise, I'll be lurking in the shadows of your Instagram videos, being like, "Yeah, hell yeah, dude."
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming on. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks. Bye.